Hello, Internet. It's me, Daddy Satan, and welcome to episode 2 of What the Fuck Makeup. So, get into your gay drinks, and let's get into shit that makes me go, what the fuck. I don't have as much bad news to talk about in this one, luckily enough for you, but still have some shit I want to talk about. I'm a shit talker. I'm just celebrating Pride, okay? Item number 1 on the agenda, Katie Hobbs actually did one good thing. Every once in a while, she kinda does the things she said she would do when she got into office. But she vetoed the bill, House Bill 2867, and this bill was a bill that claims to protect Jewish students. It would prohibit schools and educators from teaching or promoting of anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic content, acts, or processes. So, according to ADC National, if it passed, it would have permitted the censoring of critical global histories in the classroom by stripping educators in Arizona of basic professional liability protections if they faced accusations of anti-Semitism. So it doesn't protect the students, it actually cynically exploits public sympathy for vulnerable students, undermining public education for all. The bill, which is guided by International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, the definition of anti-Semitism includes criticism of Israel and its illegal occupation of Palestinians. So, do we know what anti-Semitism means? Because Palestinians are Semitic people. So, teachers can be thankful for one tiny itty bitty little thing because they're getting it from all other ends currently. I could not imagine being a teacher. Like, for one, the pay is not enough. For two, I don't really like kids. But yeah, so at least they can't be sued for teaching the truth, basically. The amount of propaganda in this country is wild. I saw a post that said something like, I'm sure it was satire, but it was like, a US ambassador went and talked to another ambassador from like Russia or something, and he was like, wow, your guys's propaganda sure is strong, or something like that. And the Russian ambassador was like, yeah, but it's nothing compared to American propaganda. And the American goes, what American propaganda? That's how hard our propaganda is. Ay, ay, ay. This place. I mean, school is literally just the trial run for prison. They teach you have to think the same as everybody else, and it all has to be very close-minded in a box and in a certain way, and if it's anything outside, then you're wrong. Kind of thinking along the lines of like math, like if you got the right answer but the work that you showed was different than the right answer, then you got the whole thing wrong. Like, that would happen to me in math. But I was just bad at math in general, so I don't know. They also make you ask permission to use the restroom, ask permission to do everything, and take away any critical thinking and creativity. Also, this kind of reminds me when I was in high school in Miss Baker's photojournalism class. It was the hour that we had to do the pledge in, and I would stand, but I did not say the pledge. And she gave me the nastiest look every time, and one day she finally was like, some people in here just don't, or she said something like, some people in here just aren't grateful for everything America does for us, and like got all mad and shit. It wasn't the first time she went on a rant against me in front of the whole class. But yeah, she was a little cuckoo. Also, if you love America so much, that's my American right, is to not say the pledge. Plus, not very interested in sounding like a drone, pledging my allegiance to a country that doesn't give a flying fuck about me and says one nation under God. Like, bitch, not in my school. One of the things I really miss about the before 4 times was Jeffree Star white concealer. It used to be so perfect and so concentrated. I only needed like one layer and it was just completely white and amazing. And then I was like, I don't want to support him anymore. He's kind of a fucking dick. So I tried Kimchi Chic and the white concealer from them, and it was very see-through, very greasy, did not stay. I fucking hated it, but it was a little expensive for a poor person. So I just used it until it was done, and then I went back and bought another Jeffree Star White, and post-COVID, it's kind of like the Kimchi one. Like, it at least stays like the typical Jeffree concealers, but it is a lot more see-through, and I will not forgive you for this. So I do not consume any true crime. I am too easily consumed by paranoia. So I cut that shit out of my life a few years ago. And this was after listening to serial killer podcasts like every single day. But I was like, why does it feel like I'm gonna get robbed all the time or killed? So yeah, had to cut that shit out. But even though this is kind of true crime, I only caught wind of it because it's like Arizona news. But a Zionist has crucified a pastor in Arizona and killed him and put a crown of thorns on him. Pretty bizarre shit. But he said it was like a commandment of Israel to like rid the world of evil or whatever the fuck. So, yeah. All of this shit going on is fucking rotting people's brains beyond humanity. Like, what are we anymore? So much of the propaganda says that Palestinians are like subhuman, which literally is just in the Holocaust playbook. However, how can we call ourselves human anymore? One, for fucking saying shit like that, and two, for creating a culture for shit like this to happen. Yeah. This shit's wild. I'm rewatching Being Human, the UK version, and oh my god, Mitchell, oh man, he's so fucking hot, but his fucking fashion in there is just so UK fashion for the early 2000s. It's so bad. It's like, bro, what are you wearing? Oh, it looks hilarious, but he's still nice to look at. Yeah, I know, I'm doing my typical makeup look again. I've done the same makeup look for 3 fucking years, and it looks good, okay? So, like, that's one of the reasons why, but also, like, my creativity, it just takes so much motivation to want to try something new lately. And by lately, yeah, maybe I mean the past 3 years. But literally, my life has just been changing so much. I can only do what I can do for now. And once my house is completely finished, it's not a pristine house, so I have a lot of house projects. But when all that shit is said and done, I will finally create new looks. But until then, I'm just gonna get even better at what I'm good at. My next topic is about community. I am so very community driven, but sometimes it feels like, what am I doing this for? Like, I very much am nostalgic for a time that I wasn't an adult in, like the 90s, for example. I feel like people would just get together more. Like, you would go out for drinks after work with your coworkers, or like people actually showed up for big barbecue functions and shit. And nowadays, like, I don't know, there's just like not a lot of social etiquette, like getting together etiquette. And it really makes me sad because I really miss that. My parents are like extreme social butterflies and have always had a shit ton of friends, which I have a lot of surface level friends, but like only one good friend. So maybe that's one of the reasons it makes me sad. But it's like hard to get people in real legitimate community. I don't want community to just mean seeing you at the bar. I don't think that's community. Having to be around the influence of substances or the pressure of like having to pay for the space that you're in just to see your friends. I absolutely hate that. And while I totally understand it's like one of the few spaces that we can semi feel safe here in Arizona, it's not full community. It is real community, but it's not the full capacity of community. Basically, what I'm saying is that I think a lot of people are missing the inconvenience part of community. It's very hard to have any capacity nowadays when the fucking world is ending. And I totally don't blame people for that, especially because not everybody has had the same opportunities as me to be able to like go to therapy and deal with all the shit that most of us queer people have to go through. So it's hard, and I understand the duality of that, but I think being in community has to come with the inconvenience of, oh, I have to get ready, I have to drive, I have to go be around people. Don't just think about like the negative parts of it, think about the positive parts of it. You get to be around people that are like you all uplift each other's spirits, you have laughter most of the time. Maybe it's just me because I'm funny. I'm an extroverted introvert, so I like talking to people, I like making connections, but it is very draining to me at the same time. So I can't always be out like hanging out with people and stuff. I just don't feel like the general camaraderie in our community. So much of it, I think, is because of like the world that we live in post-COVID. Like, we're all still so fucked up from the shutdown and the world changing so much and so scarily, and our life is so filled with technology and we're constantly bombarded with information. Even if it's just TikToks, like, it's not like info, but we're just bombarded with notifications, content. Look at me, look at this, look at my YouTube video. So it's a lot to try to just exist, but it's so part of humanity to be in society, to participate in society. And with that comes the ugly bits, like the inconvenience of dealing with the traffic, dealing with people's drama, which is also very hard. There's so many more benefits, and I don't want to look back on my life being like, wow, I spent all of my youth or hot years on my phone. I want to spend it making actual memories with people, and I think a lot of people are just very burnt out on everything and just want to stay home. Please come out, talk to each other. It's so weird how scared we all are of like just talking to strangers and talking to people. And yes, I do understand, like, the world's a scary place, but like, do any of you remember what it was like in the 90s and early 2000s? Like, you could just talk to strangers and things were different. Maybe my perspective is slightly different from traveling a lot too when I was younger. Getting to meet people that were completely different than me and had a different lifestyle, and just being open to meeting people, and also having had a past and working in public libraries and meeting people from all walks of life. It's very beneficial to talk to people that are different than us. But even regardless, try to come be a community. We want you here. The next one's kind of funny, but still makes me go, what the fuck? Tinder icks. Yes, I have a list, honey, because Tinder is like primarily straight men. And while I want connections with women and MBs as well, there's just not as many of them on Tinder. And they're on Field too, which still like Field a lot, but there's not a lot of people under 30 miles away on there. But yeah, for Tinder, being exposed to straight men, jump scare. For one, like, straight dudes are just so predictable, so a lot of these are so incredibly common. Like, there's a million straight dudes on Tinder. 90% of them are the same. Like, the first one would be, it could be any height, but it happens a lot with 6-foot dudes, but it'll say 6 foot because apparently that matters. Yeah, there's too much to deep dive into that, but just stop. It's silly, bro. Okay, or I can predict like all of their profiles, what their pictures are gonna contain. A hospital pic. I think they do this because they want they want to be mommied and they want you to be like, oh honey, what happened? What's wrong? So many hospital pics. Or a pic with their mom or their sister. I think that's fucking weird to have your family on your Tinder. But what I think is happening in their brains is they want you to be like, oh, he's a family man, or oh, he's close with his mom. We all know why we're here. Stop pretending. Or they'll also have a pic with a kid, kind of in the same vein, like, oh, he's good with kids. Also, of course, and it's usually the first one, a pic with a dead animal. Like, what are you trying to say with this? I feel like in their big boy brain, they're thinking, oh, I'm gonna come off as a provider with this. I can provide meat. There's a grocery store 5 minutes down the street. Like, you don't need to be killing a fucking animal to do this. I think it's gross. I don't want to fucking see that. I'm not into hunting. And I feel like a majority of girls are not. Maybe it's like a mating call for like fellow country people, like country music type people. I don't know. It's a mating call for something, and it is not me, a queer woman. Or another one that's like semi-common is like group photos, and they'll either have like the first picture be a group photo, or a majority of their pictures are a group photo, and then their single one is like just the very last one. But it's almost always the ugliest person in the group. And I think what they're trying to say with this is like, see, I'm around hot people. I don't know. Or they're also like just trying to hide. But it's not a good tactic. Like, if you're trying to hide how ugly you are, why would you put yourself up against all of these pretty people? Honestly, you probably would have looked better if you just had pictures by yourself without all of these other people. I think just having other people in your Tinder pictures, regardless, is not the move. Like, unless they are playing with you, why do you like, I wonder if these dudes bros fucking know that him and his homeboy are the fucking profile picture to their Tinder accounts. And what would they say about it? Would they be like, nice bro, or would it be like, what are you? A red flag for me on Tinder is having no bio. There's different levels, like they can have none of the presets filled out. That's pretty sketchy. But even having like the presets filled out and still no bio, that's still just enough of a red flag for me. Like, if they're hot but have no bio, I will swipe left because, yeah, we all know why we're here, but I don't want to be treated like an object, and that's what those vibes are giving me. Another ick is matching and them never saying anything. I will not be the woman to say something first to a man. No. No. Unless you are a MB or a beautiful woman, I am not messaging first. Another ick is the dude's first message just being hi, especially if it's fucking not even capitalized H. Like, tell me you are gonna give zero fucking effort. I'm looking for fun, not to be used as an object. Like, I want to have mutual fun. So if you're just gonna say hi, bye. These kind of vibes and just a majority of like straight man culture just further leads me to believe that like straight men actually hate women. A majority. There are some good straight dudes out there. They just see women as objects and for a way to like get their rocks off. Bro, it is so much more fun if you just like actually participate mutually. But no, that would be gay. Like, dudes actually caring about the woman, they would call other fellow dudes gay for this. Which is so funny because like I think so much straight culture is like so homo. Like, y'all do it for the boys. The guys that like use women as objects do it for the boys. Like, they try to find the hottest bitch and then go and tell their boys about it. Why do you want your bros' approval so much over who you're sleeping with? Or they're always like very close. We'll be like, no homo, dude. Also, they do so much for like their fellow dudes' approval. Like going to the gym and being a dick. Like the douche guys in the gym, they like all do it for each other and be like, nice bro, did you get a good pump? The straight guys who hate women, like, it's a very interesting culture that we live in, but happy Pride. One of my past jobs was working at a public library and I fucking loved it. Like, it changed who I am in like the course of my life. I was like learning about socialism and community and everything all at the same time in starting my library career. And it was just so interesting. Literally people from all walks of life come into the library, which if you don't have a card, you literally need to do. There's so few instances where your taxes actually go to something good, and the library is like the most socialist thing that we have. It's a free space you can be where you get so much free stuff. Like, it is not just books. You get a huge list of free online resources, which can be anything from databases, which usually you have to pay a lot of money for, but you get for free through your library card. So if you're studying, this is a great resource. Also, you can get things like, a lot of them have like, automobile databases, so you can learn how to fix your own car. They even have things like Canopy, which is basically a free Netflix. It is predominantly documentaries, but they do have like the Terminator and shit like that on there. And you can even get free music from the Sony database. It's called Freegal. And you might think like, oh, it's just Sony. Sony owns pretty much everything. If you know anything about the music industry, there's like the big three, and Sony is one of them, so you'll be fine. Being able to help people from all walks of life and seeing what a community resource the library is, like, they offer free taxes, free job help. It was so amazing and life-changing to be able to help people in such different ways. But you also see it's like a microscope into society and what people are really going through, and we're all so similar. Like, it's crazy, and all of us are pretty much struggling under capitalism. One of my favorite things to do is to like talk to old conservative people, and they would be like complaining about how their insurance wasn't working or this or that was not serving them. And I would just be like, it's all a scam, isn't it? And they'd be like, yeah, you're so close, brother. You're so close. But a couple of my favorite stories, not because they're a good experience, but they're good stories. One of them was helping a lady on the computer apply for jobs. It's so sad to see how computer illiterate so many people are. She was searching for a job and I was trying to show her how to use Indeed and apply for jobs, and she was out of a job, so she was really hurting for money. And I'm trying to show her on the computer and I was like, okay, you're gonna take the mouse and click here. You know what that poor lady did? She took the mouse and placed it on the computer. Like on the monitor. Yeah, that interaction ended with her crying and me giving her a hug because it was so hard for her to find a job. But thanks, capitalism. Yikes. Another great story was actually kind of along the line with the computer illiteracy, almost the same exact thing. I was helping this other dude with Indeed and he did not understand, like, he could not grasp that every time you apply for a job, Indeed would send you an automatic email of thanks for applying for this job, blah blah blah. This is a bot. This is not a monitored email. Do not reply. And he would always be like, I'm replying to these and telling them, like, he would show me, it said, like, thank you so much for your response. I really look forward to hearing from you. I'm really excited about this position. As if he was talking to a person, and I was trying to explain to him, like, these are just bots. It's not a real person sending you an email, and he could not grasp it. But what's so sad about his story was he used to be a famous photographer, traveling with bands like Led Zeppelin for their concerts and shit like that. But when the digital age came, he thought it was all just gonna be a fad, so he was a film photographer. So he, like, refused to get on the bandwagon, and, like, when the internet came out, he was like, this is whatever, it doesn't really affect me. But then the whole world changed, and he got left behind, so he doesn't know digital photography, and just became an alcoholic, and spent his days at the library until he couldn't afford it anymore, and just became a truck driver. So I never saw him again after that. That was so sad. He was really cool though. He had awesome stories. Another one that was so gross was this dude. I'll tell you another time about the first interaction we had with him because it was wild and it's too much to get into right now. But one of my positions that I worked at the library was, like, kind of at the front entrance, and you're kind of far away from any other workers. And I was a young woman, like 21, and I was so different back then. Like, I was still very shy, did not understand boundaries really, and it was rough. But he walked up to me one time and just stared at me and go, yeah. Disgusting. So I was like, I need to leave, and I ran to the back. That is not a unique experience, women working in libraries. So if you have a nice librarian or woman worker at the library, be extra nice to them because they've been through a lot of shit, I can guarantee. One last library story for today. So funny. In my last The Devil Wants to Know interview with Juno, which if you haven't seen, here it is. We filmed at the Tempe Public Library, and while I was waiting for Juno, I signed up for a library card, and I was wearing a sleeveless shirt, and while I am at the front desk, no one else in line, this dude walks right up to me, puts his hands on the counter, and then just stares at me. Like, you could tell he was kind of trying to, like, get a glimpse inside my shirt, and that was disgusting. So I was like, hey man, you mind waiting in line behind me? And he just rolled his eyes and walked away. And then I heard him go sit down next to a random person and be like, yeah man, I'm trying to do this, but I have to wait for that girl. Okay. I realized he was incredibly drunk, and he was a repeat customer from the library I used to work at, where we had to routinely call an ambulance for him for getting so drunk that he would be incapacitated. And it seemed like an emergency every time. So, I guess libraries are a small world in that sense. I mean, I'm here to help everyone. But if you're disrespectful, you don't fuck with me anymore. In the good news section for today, I wanted to talk about this drag queen, Esther the bipedal entity. I don't know how to pronounce that word. But I fucking love her content. She like deep dives into like history, but history that affects today's society, especially around BIPOC people. And I fucking love it, dude. I always learn something new for her. And it can be a lot of information, but she doesn't talk too fast. And she does make it very digestible because she does it with a lot of fun graphics and in drag. And it's a lot of fun to watch. So I really recommend her videos if you want to learn a little brain dump. Does anyone else have to do this? I used to always say, like, I'm allergic to makeup, but I think I need to change the terminology to makeup is poison for us, because even shit that says it doesn't have talc in it is, like, still allowed to have certain levels of talc and shit. I've even sent an email to Andy Biggs, like, begging to have more regulations, like FDA regulations on makeup. And his response was so, like, the government needs to do less to interfere with the American people, blah blah blah. Which, like, just tell me that you're sucking the corporation's dick. Like, I'm sure you're not making enough money to be doing all that work, bro. But yeah, talc is basically asbestos, and I'm putting it on my face like all the fucking time, so yay! So I'm not allergic, I'm just actively poisoning myself to look hot. Random side note, thanks to the random influencer that was moving out giving away free shit, and she gave me an entire cabinet's worth of free makeup, so I don't have to buy lashes probably for another year or so. But aren't these hilarious? I mean, they're very plain, but French fry theme? Okay. Not McDonald's though, the boycotts, girl. My last piece of good news that I wanted to talk about is really free markets. If you don't know about them, they are exactly what they say they are, actually. Yeah, really, it's free. There's one in almost like every major city in the valley. By the valley, I mean the greater Phoenix area. But they're awesome. They're little community gatherings, a lot of times in parks, and they have been shut down by the police before, of course, because everything good and worthwhile is. But yeah, people just get together and bring their free shit, and it's specifically not a trade. Like, you don't have to bring something to trade, but you can bring stuff yourself if you want, or you can just go get free shit. A lot of them usually will have a pretty good stock of like period supplies and diapers and stuff like that, which is awesome. And I'm so thankful to people that do stuff like this, because this is real community, legitimate mutual aid and benefiting real people and actual neighbors. So I absolutely love that. When I eventually do my future coffee with your neighbors meetups in my front yard, I'm kind of gonna bring that little aspect to it. I'm gonna have a free table, and people can just come bring whatever free shit they have and want to get rid of. So if they were gonna donate it, then they can try to give it to their neighbors first. And then I'm thinking of putting like little tags on them that say the date that they were placed on the free table, so that way if it's there for like 3 events or so, then I'll just donate it at that point. And not to Goodwill, they are not getting our shit for free just so they can charge crazy prices and give a new yacht to one guy. New. Donate locally. But yeah, I will link some really free markets. I've been to one before, and it was just a nice little hangout at a park, and I gave away some free decor that I was getting rid of because I wanted to change my style. People loved it. I didn't see anything that I particularly excuse me needed at the time, but just knowing that it's there is a really nice relief that people actually care about each other and want to benefit each other. Hell yeah, community. Can we just hear it for the details? This is with waterline, without waterline. And I think it's a huge difference. Sometimes I'm like, I can skip that, nobody even notices. But then when I actually do it, I'm like, damn, looks good. If you pay attention to the details and hit all of them, it always comes together in the end. Little tip. I mean, look at this. Detail, no detail. It literally makes such a difference. Like, ow. I don't even have my contacts in yet, and she's serving. Or should I say he? Well, queers, this is the final look for today. I really had to pack it in today because I have 2 back-to-back shows, which I've only ever done once before. I had 3 shows in one day. But tonight is my first ever show in Prescott. Let's see if I get killed or shot. So, kidding, not kidding, yay! The details matter. Being involved in your local community matters. Being aware of what your local politicians do matters. I want to keep taking progress videos because, like, I'm still just so like, wow, what is that? And I know, it's not like I'm a fucking bodybuilder, but I've never had this and it makes me so excited. Like, I get it. It's not a lot. But it is a lot compared to not having anything. So, I'm gonna keep being happy with it. You just enjoy the free views. Had an older lady come up to me and go, I can't tell if you're a male or a female. Good. Hope you're okay. I know I'm just trying. Bye, gay. Why can't I read?